We use money every single day, but do we really get how it works? Today, we are going to peel back the layers of the financial system to see what's actually going on under the hood. And what we find just might change how you think about your money forever.
You've ever had that feeling? That nagging sense that you're saving, you're doing everything right, but somehow the goalposts just keep moving further and further away? That your $100 today just won't stretch as far next year? Well, that is a very real question. And today, we're going to dig in and find the answer.
All right, so let's get right to it. Where does that feeling come from? In this first part, we're going to get to the heart of why it feels like your money is shrinking over time.
Okay, first things first. You are not imagining it. That slow drain on your purchasing power, it's actually a feature, not a bug, of our current system. And once you understand why, you can start to figure out what to do about it. Think of it like a puzzle we're about to solve together.
So to solve this puzzle, we're going to need a map. And honestly, the best map I've ever seen for this comes from a researcher named Nick Bhatia. He calls it layered money, and it helps us see our financial world as this giant pyramid.
So what's the big idea here? It's pretty simple, actually. Not all money is created equal. The layered money framework shows us that money exists in a hierarchy, a pyramid. Some forms are like a rock-solid foundation, while others are built on top of that, and they carry a bit more risk.
At the very bottom, we have layer 1. This is the bedrock of the whole system, the ultimate asset that everything else relies on. For most of history, this was gold. Today, for the global financial system, it's primarily U.S. government debt. We call them treasuries. This is the stuff that big banks and countries use to settle up with each other. It's the final backstop.
Okay, now let's go up one level to layer 2. This is the money most of us interact with every day, the numbers you see in your bank account. But here's the catch. That money isn't the actual base asset. It's a promise from your bank to pay you layer 1 money if you ask for it. It's basically an IOU, one step removed from that solid foundation.
And believe it or not, it goes even higher. Layer 3 and beyond is where you find what's called shadow money, things like money market funds. Now, these are promises to pay you layer 2 money, which remember is a promise to pay you layer 1 money. You see the pattern here? Each step you take up the pyramid is another IOU built on the IOU below it. And every step adds something called counterparty risk, which is just a fancy way of saying there's a risk that someone in that chain of promises won't be able to pay you back.
Okay, so we've got the pyramid structure down, but why does the money in these upper layers seem to lose its value? To answer that, we're going to turn to the work of economist Saifedean Ammous, who does a brilliant job connecting the quality of our money to our own human behavior.
So the key concept we need to understand is called time preference. It sounds a little academic, but it's really simple. Let me ask you, would you rather have $100 today or $110 a year from now? Your answer, whatever it is, reveals your time preference. It's just that fundamental trade-off we all make between wanting something now and planning for the future.
And this chart here just lays it all out perfectly. When you have money that holds its value, what some call sound money, it encourages a low time preference. You save, you plan for the long term. But when you have money that's constantly losing value, like those IOUs in the upper layers of our pyramid, it pushes all of us toward a high time preference. I mean, why would you save something if you know it's going to be worth less tomorrow? You're basically incentivized to spend it now.
I mean, this quote from Saifedean Ammous just hits the nail on the head. If the very people managing the money supply are telling you their goal is to make it worth a little less each year, why on earth would you hold on to it? It's a system that actively discourages saving and pushes us all toward more spending and more debt.
So, we have a problem. Our money is being devalued, and we have a framework for understanding it. So now, let's look at what people actually do when the system starts to feel shaky. Because this isn't just a theory, right? It has massive, real-world consequences for people all over the globe. They try to find safety. They try to climb the pyramid.
Before we go any further, I just want you to look at this number, 1.2 billion. It's a huge, staggering number, and it really represents the human cost of this entire problem.
So what is that number? Well, according to research from Alex Gladstein at the Human Rights Foundation, that's how many people are living in countries where their life savings can be completely wiped out, not in years, but in a matter of months. For them, this isn't just some abstract economic concept. It is a devastating daily reality.
So what do you do when the money in your pocket is collapsing? Well, as Nick Bhatia explains, people instinctively try to climb the pyramid. That means they start moving towards the base. They sell off their riskier, upper-layer assets to try and get their hands on something more stable, something closer to that foundational layer 1. It is a flight to safety.
And these examples show exactly what that flight to safety looks like on the ground. Alex Gladstein has documented these incredible real-world stories. Activists in Nigeria had their bank accounts frozen by the government, so they used Bitcoin to keep their movement alive. Entrepreneurs in Argentina use it just to protect their businesses from hyperinflation. It becomes more than just money. It becomes a tool for freedom.
And all of this brings us to our final section. Look, if the current pyramid has some serious issues, what could possibly come next? Well, technology is opening up some really fascinating new possibilities for what money could be.
This is from a thought experiment by Bitcoin's anonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. Just think about it. What if you could create something that was as scarce as gold, but you could send it to anyone, anywhere in the world, instantly, just over the internet? That was the core idea.
And this is where it all connects back to our money pyramid. Proponents, like Amos and Bhatia, argue that because Bitcoin has a fixed supply that's locked in by math, there will only ever be 21 million of them. It has the properties of a Layer 1 asset. They see it as a potential neutral digital foundation for a new pyramid, one that isn't controlled by any single country or company. I think this quote from Nick Bhatia just perfectly captures the potential shift we're talking about. It suggests a future where you're not just stuck with the currency of the country you happen to be born in. Instead, you might actually choose your money based on its properties. Is it stable? Is it secure? Is it transparent? You know, a true free market for money?
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. As our world gets more and more digital, the nature of that foundational first-layer asset becomes more important than ever. Understanding this pyramid gives you the tools to ask the right questions. So the real question is, what will you choose to build your financial future on? Thanks so much for joining us.